All the disrespect before you play back, button check. Button check.
What is up, Butt Check family? Welcome back to yet again a beautiful day, y'all. It is Friday. The weekend is here. We done made it. Thank you guys for tuning in to check these buttons with me. Chapters down below, sub button right there. We's about to get it. So without further ado, let's start the weekend off right. Let's go. All right, now into that first set of the competitive integrity of 2XKO is a joke, or just maybe in the FGC overall, buttons that need to be checked. So this one broke, man, just like a few days ago. There was this interesting debate where people actually were upset that the devs will give, I guess, special privileges to some pros and let them play the game, let them test the game before we even touch it. Therefore, they have a competitive advantage, and they're like, this is unfair. We need to stop this bullshit. Right here, starting it off saying the competitive integrity of 2XKO is a joke. All of these players shamelessly talking about how much they know stuff behind the scenes and how much early access they have had with characters and stuff is genuinely unbelievable. This one, by the way, has 2.3 thousand likes, because you can already see that, you know, some people agreeing with that. Others respond saying competitive integrity is down the drain, LOL, and it ain't even funny anymore, just sad. Leffen was bragging about having 4-digit hours before his region got to play the game at all. This is just how Riot works. At least in this game, if you beat them, you beat them. In League, they'll just segregate you out of the system and laugh my fucking ass off. That's unbelievable. This is why I play fighting games for fun and don't care about the money. It's cutthroat, and the direction that the scene is taking with it is so lame. Others say, seeing people respond with, they only played for 2 hours, chill. 2 hours of physical playtime still translates of days of theory crafting, future proofing strategy, practice, priority, etc. It's still a huge advantage that people don't seem not to realize. And then for a game that focuses on content creators, so much is pretty lame for every reaction video to be like, yeah, I saw that at Riot. And remember the Chris T crack allegations. Does y'all remember that? I think it was with Street Fighter 6, right? They were talking about certain pros that had the crack. And I think some like exposed themselves by having it. Who was it? It was somebody that did a video like, I'm not playing the crack, but then somebody said they had like I guess a file on their desktop when they were filming or something like that. I can't remember, but there was all these allegations. And the word was going around that some people were actually pissed, like, bro, it's totally unfair. If you have the crack, you're a piece of shit. Even pros were saying that. So people were generally getting mad, but you couldn't really prove at the time anyway who had the crack. Well, continuing on from there, saying it's truly insane that some players got to play for weeks/months and then were allowed to enter tournaments with tens of thousands of dollars on the line. And far worse was multiverses. They kept letting Void test and give feedback on the game in their offices for at least a year before the game came out. Him and his partner won the $100,000 tournament and then was given a job as CM immediately after. Damn, was that true? Is that true? I remember they were doing the 100,000 thing at EVO, and that was big. We're like, holy shit, Multiverses is dropping 100K, and I think, wasn't it the teams, like the doubles at EVO that year? Anyway, they said Void got to play behind the scenes, and then him and his partner won. So I'm very curious to see if that was true. I guess both parts. Then you got that other side of the fence right here saying people always raise this kind of a stink when people get to play fighting games before they came out, and it literally never even matters. It's really funny that people think a few hours, days, weeks are enough to carve out a competitive advantage that lasts for more than a month at most. Underneath that, they also say, you must have missed the entire Street Fighter 6 crack era, because we established that it basically made no difference for the long-term competitive integrity of the game, and that was having an entire build to be able to play whenever. 2 to 3 hours once every few months means nothing. But we get even deeper, because Rooflemonger actually responds to this saying, I think you're overthinking it. We got to play Kate for a few hours and saw some of the patch notes and then ate dinner. This ain't some grand conspiracy, LOL. Then others respond to that saying, it's not a conspiracy, but it's objectively a conflict of interest. Laugh my ass off. A few hours of patch knowledge is a big deal when she's legal for a major 2.5 weeks from now. Just sets a very bad precedent. Rooflemonger responds saying, not wrong, I suppose, although the time is truly brief and it wasn't exactly a setting where you could just freely lab stuff, especially since we only got a taste of what the patch is, not actually notes themselves. Okay, so real quick, because I just noticed literally now that Sajam even posted a video on this. Son of a bitch, Sajam beat me to it. So it looks like he just posted it 13 hours ago, and it's already doing some numbers. So I have no idea what his take is going to be on this. So we'll check out a piece of that in a second. But yeah, I remember when, who was it? It was Combo Fiend. Yeah, I think it was Combo Fiend. He was testing some game. I can't remember what the game was. Was it 4? No, it wasn't 4. Maybe it was 5. But, and I could be way off, and I could be way off with Combo Fiend as well. I know Combo Fiend is a dev. Who's he a dev now for? 2XK? I don't know. He's doing the damn thing. What I'm trying to say is I remember there was a dev in the community that was testing out a game, and they also weren't allowed to compete. So I don't think that's necessarily something that we don't do here in the American FGC. However, like, one can also make the opposite argument, and let me know if you guys agree or disagree, that the reason why the devs, because 2XKO had a lot of pros over there. They had a lot of pros over there, so I could see some complaints. You know who else did? It was Invincible Versus. Invincible Versus is having pros actually come on and help design some of the game as well. So I could see some of the argument, but the reverse, or I'm saying the opposing argument could be that, well, the reason why they're doing this is because they're trying to get so much feedback from the community that they actually make a good game, that they actually get the stamp of approval, because I mean, they're wagering everything on this. So I can completely see in that aspect why they're doing this in the first place, right? It does make sense. But I guess the big debate is, if pros are able to do that and there's a tournament coming out like in 2 weeks, like right around the corner, and it's like for $100,000, which I imagine we don't see too often. But if that's the case, if it's $100,000 and here's here, and it's like two days later, 2 weeks later, then I can understand completely. In that scenario, then yeah, what the hell are we doing?
How many of you are familiar with the phrase ban the testers? I feel like I'm Palpatine. Like, how many of you know the
tragedy of Darth Plagueis the
testers? Around like Injustice 1, MKX, like Injustice 2, a bunch of top players got invited to go try the game and then give feedback and like, you know, find broken stuff and then let them know. And a bunch of players that got invited in and played and like had early access to a bunch of stuff, then went to a bunch of tournaments and did very well in like the first week, month or 2 or 3 or whatever of the game coming out. So it became like a big thing where people were yelling. They were like, ban the testers. And people said it so much it became tan the besters. And like, you know, there's some stories about people like finding things, like they would lab stuff with their character and then just not mention it. Be like, yeah, I tried them, I didn't see anything crazy. And then they would like try to use it when the game came out. There was even people who were like in there, invited early to play. They were like recording the stuff that they would find so that they could remember it for later or like lab it or like show people. And everybody was like, well, dude, this is not fair. So that became like a big conversation. And I can tell you that I myself had a pretty similar experience even going and trying Killer Instinct. Each season with KI, they had like a bunch of system changes, a bunch of balance changes and stuff. And for season 3, they invited a ton of people to come in and play, break it open, tell us what you think, and like tell us what the problems are. So I was competing in the game and tournament. I was also commentating it.
Okay, so this is interesting because Sajam is pretty much confirming, yes, it actually does happen. Y'all conspiracies or whatever, I don't know if they're to that level, but it actually does happen because I've seen it firsthand.
Catch us up to the modern era. Street Fighter 6 is on the way. They ran a beta 6 to 8 months before release or whatever, and it got cracked. When it shut down, they were then able to like play it offline with training mode with the 8 characters that were in the beta. And what ended up happening is people for like 6 months before release, people were able to play the game. And I think when it came to the crack for Street Fighter, it was an interesting dilemma because people who were going to be tournament players who are good at the game mostly were still really good at Street Fighter 5. A lot of the top players like still needed to play in tournaments at the tail end of Street Fighter 5, like if you were qualified for Capcom Cup. But a lot of the people who were out, if you didn't have obligations and you're a top player, why wouldn't you grind the crack, basically, right? Besides like the moral objective. I knew a lot of people were playing that crack. In fact, people were trying to offer me crack and I said no. And the reason I didn't want to play the crack—
This dude said people tried to offer me some crack.
basically is not even like the moral obligation to it. I don't want to play like something like that serious if it's not out. I can't play it with other humans like openly. There's no like matchmaking and stuff. Also, I don't really care to play like a crack or like an early build. Like it's not for me. I knew a lot of people who played it and I knew a lot of people who act like they didn't play it even though they played it a lot. And I knew a lot of people who played it and then the week 1 of the game were like Thanos. Like you'd run into them and they would just have the most insane labbed polished setups and then you'd be like, what the fuck? I knew top players who played it. I knew top players who didn't play it. It was a huge thing.
Okay. Again, now he double and triple and down said this legit does happen.
Should you invite pro players in to test early versions and patches and stuff like that. On one hand, you may get great feedback. On the other hand, you may create like a dichotomy where people feel like they're being left out. So there's probably a balance. For things like new characters, you could probably just invite people to create content and not pro players. I don't personally care or mind that like other creators are playing in tests frequently for other things that I'm not in. I know that some people really, it does bother them if anybody has any kind of early access.
So there you go. It looks like he even wraps it up with like, there's just this problem with like, you can invite the sweats and it can be a fresh perspective, but at the same time, it can cause a problem. So maybe there's a healthier balance. And his video, y'all, is over 17 minutes long. So I'll put his link down below so you can check it out. We didn't even get into all the meat and potatoes that he was talking about. So definitely check out some Sajam if you have time. There you have it. Interesting enough, the debate continues. Ban the testers or tan the besters? How y'all feeling? Let me know. There it is one more time. Thank you guys for joining us on this beautiful Friday. The weekend is here. I think what I'm gonna do is take the rest of the day, and I actually have free time. I don't have any kids today, and I'm gonna be with the wifey, and she actually has a day off. So I'm gonna enjoy my day with her. I hope you guys do the same. And if I don't catch you tonight, I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Thank you guys for the amazing love. And as always, I don't know what it is, but I know somehow, some way, it's about to get better. Love y'all forever. Peace.
Blah, blah, blah. Subscribe.
You know, with the whole ban the testers thing, my testimony is when it comes to dating, you know, some guys were early bloomers. They were early bloomers and they was already messing with girls in elementary school. I'm talking about 3rd grade, maybe even younger. Shit, I remember that in 4th grade they was getting down, you know, and kissing and French kiss, all this stuff. Your boy was in the back just looking like, what the hell's cracking on this side? This the crack? Y'all got the crack. So long story short, by the time we got to high school, oh, they was experts. They was experts, but guess who wasn't an expert when he got his first girlfriend? Your boy. Your boy. So I'm behind. These fucking testers, they've been testing the game throughout, because they got the crack. So they've been testing the shit the whole time, but all the late bloomers, we didn't get a chance to test it out, so now we looking stupid. Now, fast forward over longevity, it doesn't make a difference because I done caught up. Oh, your boy done caught up with the best of them, you know what I'm saying? But they got an advantage because they had the crack. But as far as ban the testers, yes, hell yeah, ban the testers. These damn early bloomer dudes getting all the latest. No, I just say it's not fair. It don't make no sense talking about Nesto don't know how to kiss. He don't know how to move his tongue. You know what? No, that's some bullshit. I'm saying I know how to kiss. I know how to kiss. Listen, I'm saying I bloom when I'm supposed to bloom. That's what I say. You bloom. Everybody, flowers are different. You know what? Fuck y'all.